welcome to the channel. Well, today what I'm going to be doing is showing you how to put stripes on your car the correct way. So there's many ways of doing this. Now I'm going to show you the way I do it, and the way I do it is if you already have your car already painted. Now you can do the step process to where you tape over the stripes you painted so you don't have a line, or in my case we have a car here that's already painted, so we're going to just be putting stripes on it. So follow along and let's get right into it. Today, right behind me, I have this Ford Mustang that we're working on. Now what I'm doing to it, I've already taken the drip rail moldings off. I've taken everything off right here to get to parts that I've got to paint. Now what I have here is 800 grit water sandpaper. I've taped up everywhere to keep water from protruding down into the trunk, getting on anything in the trunk. What I'm doing, I'm going to water sand the surfaces, the entire surface that we're going to be putting stripes on. We're going to be striping this car out, putting a new Shelby conversion front bumper on it. I'm going to be water sanding everything that has to be painted. So the first thing you're going to do is prep. Make sure you prep everything correctly. Now I don't want to damage the paint. I want to keep this gray color on there without having to do any more color in gray. I just want to be able to do my stripes and then lay clear. So I'm going to be water sanding the roof down, and I'm going to be water sanding the deck lid down. Then we're going to be taping everything off, cleaning it to lay down our stripes. Okay, now what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be prepping my surface using my water sandpaper. Now I have washed it, cleaned it, so I know there's no dirt or debris on the panel itself. We don't want to damage the clear coat down into the paint. We want to just scuff it, basically leave it a good texture on top that's in a dull texture so that our paint will stick. So I'm going to water sand this entire panel down with this 800 grit. All right, now we're in here in the paint booth. We've got the car in here masked off. I used one big solid single sheet of masking and masked off the whole entire car. Taped everything off, got the deck lid here and the roof skin taped off. Now what I'm going to do my stripes, I'm going to measure from there, one side to there, get the full distance of this entire roof panel, and then get my center line and make my mark for my center line. Then what I'll do, I'll go around to the front, just the same way I did on the hood, and I'll do the side from here to there and get my center line. Then once I've made that center line, I'm going to measure the stripe that I've made on the back of the hood and the distance that is, and measure over from that distance to make sure that I get the same width. I'll also make marks right here. I'll run that center tape line down the center of the roof line, and then I'll mark from the center of the hood, the roof, over, so the center is also the same width. And I'll do that again on this, and I'm going to roll it all the way around that little third brake light, just like I did on the front of the fascia. I'm going to do it on the back of the car here too. So we're going to tape it off, get our centers marked out, get our stripes put on here, and shoot some paint. Okay, here's our front fascia here. It's all been done. I've got it all taped off. Got the hood done. Of course, it's got to be water sand and everything else. But I made marked for my center line over, made sure everything was straight, and all the way down it, I made sure that the measurements was the same from there to there, all the way down. Also on the back, got my center line, measured over to get my correct width, to make sure it was exactly the way it should be. Okay, now on the stripes, this is just an outer line. The paint won't start until it's on the inside of this. So my stripe has to be 28.5 long. So I found my center, then I measured from the center over to make sure for 28, 28. Okay, we got 14.25, which makes 28.5. Okay, so from there to there, it should be the same. There should be the same. This should be the same. Also, to make sure it's also centered, I measure from here to there and there to there, which will not be the same this way, but this from here to here and this here to here has got to be the same. And this here to here and there's got to be the same. So I know that. So now I've checked from there to there and there to there, and it's straight. And as you can tell, straight. So the stripes are exactly perfect to where they need to be on the back of the car. Now whether or not the car is perfect, I don't know, but the stripes will be perfect. Well, close enough. Nothing's perfect. So now this right here is just an outline. This is nothing. So I'll run my blue vinyl tape on the inside of this right here and down, and then I'm going to make a measurement from here up and run some green tape from here up, and that'll be my outline to get my curve. Okay, now it's easier to see with this line running across here, you see it's exactly the same on the gray. I'll run my blue on the inside of this, and my blue will be on the edge of this and the edge of this, and I'll have to make my round right here. So I'll make the round here, go all the way down, make the round here to match, and make sure that I can put a mark with paper or a pen, make a mark right here, go a half inch up, a half inch over, and that's where my vinyl tape will make its lift. That way you know you've got both sides are going to be the same. So make a mark half inch over, half inch up, and that's where it'll start to lift. Now you can see the marks that I've made. Now just with an example, with this right here, you can see where it's rounded. That'll be where my vinyl tape will round, just like this right here. So it's half inch, half inch. So my vinyl tape will come down, it'll lift here, and it'll contact here to make that little curve right there, so that my stripes will be exactly the same on both sides. Now I've ran my vinyl tape down, and I've lifted it where it needs to be lifted to give it that little arch that it needs to have, all the way down to the other side as well, and back up. So now I can pull my green tape off, and this right here will be where the red will start from here in. So I'll put another stripe here, then another stripe, and then I'll pull the center off, and that's where it'll start. So we'll go ahead and get with that. So this right here is where from here over will be masked off, and then from here inside will be the stripe. Now we have everything masked off. We know exactly where our line's going to be here. We should start to see the blue. So now all this is going to be red. Well, we want an accent stripe. So what we're going to do, this right here will be a stripe that's red. We're going to have to make another stripe exactly a 1/4 inch away from this one. Run a line all the way down it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to run some green tape down this stripe right here, and then I'll run another blue on top of that. Now I've ran the green tape right beside what I've just taped off. This green tape will come off once the blue is on. So now I'm using the vinyl. I'm going to do exactly the same thing I just did. Make my marks here, do my curve, and then once the blue is on, I can pull the green off. And when I lay my paint on, once the paint is laid on, the base coat, I can pull off this, and it'll expose what's underneath it. So it'll have the red, it'll expose the gray, and it'll be red. So then I can unmask this panel right here, and then shoot the clear on it, and then bury those lines so that I can water sand buff all that out. Okay, and now I am finished. Now you can see it is very subtle, that inside line. I actually had to use a piece of tape, run it across to get my angle, and use a razor blade and freehand that little curve right there so it's not to a point. So it's like that on both sides. So now I have the stripes laid out. Now once I shoot my base coat on there, I'll simply pull this one right here off. Then when that one's pulled off, that will expose the gray stripe on the center here, and then this too will be the red. So then I can unmask it and clear this whole panel. I finished off the top now. So the top is all striped out now. Now on the top, it's the exact same method. That's the reason why I didn't waste my time showing you a tutorial of how doing it. Now what I did do though, I put my piece of tape up here in the front where I started. I pulled it way up high, and then I knew exactly where my marks were, and I ran it straight down. And I made my measurements to make sure they were straight. All right, now we're going to shoot our color on there. So we're going to start with a real light coat. We're going to keep doing a light coat to build it up because we don't want any bleed through. now we have our base all on now. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna take that strap there off first, really slowly, and we're gonna be pulling it towards itself. Then we'll take off the side coverings, and then we'll start doing our clear over top of this. Now that I've unmasked the sides here, you can see I've pulled the side part, the tape off, all the inserts out. Now I'm just pulling that outer rim off, and it'll give me my shape of my stripes, and then we'll lay some clear on. Okay, I went ahead and I pulled all the tape. So you can see this is just base coat here, but you can see where it's, where I pulled the stripe, the double stripe off. So now I'm gonna go ahead, I'm going to lay some clear on there, and you won't be able to see, that's just the light and dark you see, that's from just the sanding. It's not in the paint itself. So now, let's put some clear. Okay, I've got the first coat of clear on there now. You can already see how it's laid over the stripes. Still got a lot more clear to put on there. We want to really bury those stripe lines right there, so when we do the water sanding, we won't have no issue with filling those stripes. It'll be completely buried underneath the paint. And here's the final coat of clear that we've got on here. You can see how nice it's turned out. On top. So we'll let that dry out, and then we'll come in here and unmask everything, water sand it all down, and buff it. Gotta get the spoiler set on there and get it striped out. Here we are the next day. It's all dry. See how nice it turned out. Deck lid here. So now we just gotta let it sit out here and cure real good in the sun. And once it's cured, we can start doing the water sanding process. I've got the hood water sanded down now. I've got the stripes laid out exactly where I want them to be. I've measured over from the center out, made a mark. I still got to run like a card down it to make sure there's no air bubbles in my stripes, but they are the same on both sides. As you can, it's kind of hard to tell, but I've measured all the way down it to make sure they were the same. And over here, got some stuff over here done. Got the black, this is tuxedo black. It's hard to tell right here because it's just base coat, but there's pearl in the black. I'm gonna go ahead, let that dry, tape off the black, and then I'll shoot the sterling silver over the rest of the bumper. I'm gonna finish taping up, masking the sides off right here, and then I'll shoot some red in the center here. So it'll be red here and red here, and it'll be gray there and gray there. When I pull that off, then I can clear this panel here. Now I can't do anything yet. I've got to make the rest of my stripes based off that rear section because it's the widest. But once this right here is painted, I can sit this on the hood, get the bumper on, mask the bumper off right here, and then shoot the red right here to match the hood. And then when that's done, I can do the rest of the stripes all the way back. Okay, I've just put some wax and grease remover on there so it's still tacking off. I've went ahead, got everything masked off that needs to be masked off. Now whenever I shoot this red, this will be red, this part right here under this will be gray, and then that'll be red. So as soon as I pull and lift that up, it'll leave that little pinstripe in that in gray, so it'll split up the two red colors. So we're about to shoot some red on here, so let's go ahead and see it with some red. Check out this right here. This is hot. Hey, thank you for watching the channel. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and do that by hitting the subscribe button and the notification bell. You'll be the first one to get the video as soon as I upload one. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video.